Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover that every car has stopped moving. Airplanes are grounded, ships sit motionless in ports, factories fall silent, supermarkets begin running out of food. Within days, modern civilization starts to grind to a halt. It sounds like the plot of a disaster film, but it's a reminder of just how deeply one natural resource has shaped our world: oil. Often called black gold, oil has powered empires, transformed economies, sparked revolutions, and influenced global politics for more than a century. Nations have become incredibly wealthy because of it, while others have fought bitter wars to control it. Yet the story of oil didn't begin with giant refineries or towering offshore platforms. It began thousands of years ago, in the cradle of civilization. Long before engines, pipelines, or petrol stations existed, ancient people had already discovered a mysterious black substance rising naturally from the earth. They had no idea it would one day become the most valuable resource in human history. This is the incredible story of oil.
Nearly 6,000 years ago, the lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers were home to one of humanity's greatest achievements, Mesopotamia. Known today as parts of Iraq, Kuwait, and Syria, this fertile region witnessed the birth of cities, writing, mathematics, and organized government. But hidden beneath its soil lay another extraordinary treasure. Natural oil seeped slowly through cracks in the ground. Pools of thick, sticky black liquid appeared naturally on the surface. To modern eyes, it would look dirty and unpleasant. To ancient people, it looked like magic. Nobody knew where it came from. Some believed it was a gift from the gods. Others thought it possessed supernatural healing powers. Whatever its origin, they quickly realized this strange substance was remarkably useful. Unlike water, it wouldn't wash away. Unlike clay, it stayed flexible. Unlike wood, it resisted decay. Without understanding chemistry, Mesopotamians had discovered one of nature's most versatile materials.
The Sumerians became some of the earliest known people to collect natural bitumen. Bitumen is a thick, sticky form of crude oil that naturally reaches the Earth's surface. It proved invaluable. Builders mixed it with bricks to waterproof enormous temples. Without bitumen, many early structures would have collapsed under seasonal floods. Instead, these buildings survived for generations. Boat builders coated wooden vessels with it, preventing water from leaking inside. Farmers sealed storage containers to protect grain from moisture. Craftsmen used it as an adhesive. Even decorative jewelry sometimes incorporated naturally occurring asphalt. Thousands of years before modern engineering, oil had already become part of everyday life. As centuries passed, Babylon rose to become one of the greatest cities the world had ever seen. Massive defensive walls surrounded the city. Grand palaces reflected extraordinary wealth. Magnificent temples stretched towards the sky. Constructing such monumental architecture required materials capable of surviving harsh weather. Again, bitumen became essential. Workers used enormous quantities as mortar between baked bricks. It acted almost like modern cement. Many historians believe parts of Babylon's famous walls remained standing for centuries, partly because of this remarkable natural substance. Ancient writers even described roads sealed using bitumen, creating smoother surfaces for carts and traders. Oil was already helping to build civilization. Ancient societies rarely separated science from religion. When people found something unusual, they often believed it possessed divine powers. Oil was no exception. Some healers applied bitumen to cuts and wounds. Others believed it could cure skin diseases. It was sometimes burned during religious ceremonies, producing thick smoke that created an atmosphere of mystery. Flames emerging naturally from underground gas vents fascinated entire communities. Many believed eternal fires were messages from the heavens. In reality, escaping natural gas was igniting as it reached the surface. But without modern science, These flames seemed almost miraculous. They inspired myths that survived for centuries.
Mesopotamia wasn't alone. As trade routes expanded, knowledge traveled with merchants. Oil found new purposes across the ancient world. In Egypt, workers occasionally used petroleum products during construction and preservation. In Persia, natural oil seeps became famous landmarks. Some burned continuously for generations. These eternal flames became sacred within several religious traditions. Travelers journeyed hundreds of miles simply to witness them. Elsewhere, communities discovered their own local oil deposits. Although they couldn't refine crude oil into fuels, they recognized its unique properties. Every civilization seemed to find another creative use. Perhaps the most extraordinary breakthrough happened far to the east. More than 2,000 years ago, Chinese engineers developed techniques that astonish historians even today. Instead of waiting for oil to appear naturally, they began drilling into the ground. Using giant bamboo drilling rigs, workers reached astonishing depths. Some wells extended hundreds of meters below the surface. This happened centuries before Europe developed similar technology. Initially, they weren't searching for oil. They wanted salt. But while drilling, they frequently encountered natural gas. Rather than ignoring it, they found a brilliant solution. Bamboo pipes transported the gas directly to large furnaces. The flames boiled salty water, allowing workers to harvest valuable salt far more efficiently. This may have been humanity's earliest large-scale use of underground fossil fuels. It demonstrated something revolutionary. Resources hidden beneath the earth could transform entire industries. As the Roman Empire expanded across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, it encountered petroleum in numerous regions. Roman writers described black liquids emerging naturally from the ground. Engineers experimented with waterproofing materials. Builders continued using bitumen in roads and construction projects. Some military historians believe petroleum-based substances even influenced later forms of incendiary weapons, though these technologies evolved over centuries. Wherever people encountered oil, they recognized its unusual qualities. Yet nobody imagined its greatest purpose, because one crucial invention had not yet arrived: the internal combustion engine. Without engines, crude oil remained useful, but not priceless. That transformation would come much later.
For thousands of years, oil remained a helpful material rather than a global obsession. Kings fought over land. Empires fought over gold. Merchants traded silk and spices. Very few imagined that one day, nations would compete for thick, black liquid hidden beneath deserts and oceans. Human civilization was quietly waiting for science, waiting for industry, waiting for machines powerful enough to unlock oil's true potential. When that moment finally arrived, the world would never be the same again. The mysterious substance, once gathered by ancient builders, would eventually fuel cars, ships, aeroplanes, and entire economies. It would create billion-pound industries, reshape international politics, and become one of the most strategically important resources on Earth. But before oil conquered the modern world, humanity first had to learn how to extract it on an industrial scale. And that story begins with determined inventors, daring entrepreneurs, and one historic oil well that changed history forever.